Welcome to UCLA and to Royce Hall. I'm Kelly Wall, Assistant Dean for Student Achievement in the College of Letters and Science. Thank you so much for coming together during these unprecedented times to celebrate our graduates of the Class of 2021. We are honoring the achievements of the bachelor's and master's degree recipients from the College of Letters and Science, the UCLA International Institute, the Samueli School of Engineering, the Alpert School of Music, and the School of Theater, Film, and Television. Before we begin, the leadership of these ceremonies at UCLA acknowledges our presence on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples. Today, the world is a different place than when we were last able to gather this way in the spring to honor our graduating class. We bring to this event our experience of a global pandemic, our commitment to address racial injustice at UCLA, and our hope for the years ahead to be filled with the many accomplishments and contributions of our graduates. To everyone in attendance today, I want to offer my congratulations. As the family members and friends of our graduates, you have enriched their lives with your love and support throughout their studies, whether their classes were held on campus here in Westwood or in each of your homes, courtesy of the internet. Together, our entire community at UCLA shares your pride and thanks you. At this time, please turn off your cell phones, or at least be sure that they're on vibrate. We encourage you to take photos or videos from your seats. Please do not stand in the aisles because we cannot block them during the ceremony. Family and friends of our graduates, I am very proud to present the Class of 2021. It is my pleasure to introduce the Senior Dean of the College of Letters and Science and Dean of Humanities, David Skaberg.
Thank you so much. As I've thought about how we could recognize the graduates of the class of 2021 together here today, it occurred to me that much of what we're doing in ceremonies like this has to do with recognizing the challenges of forming communities. I want graduates to think back a few days or a few months to the moment when you recognize that you would be coming back to UCLA, to Royce Hall, to participate in this ceremony, that you would be gathering your friends, your family, your other loved ones, that you would be making arrangements to acquire medieval robes, that you would be filing in to this, the most ceremonial spot on UCLA's campus, to participate in a ceremony accompanied by music, decorated all around you by the architecture of this space, by the participation of others in ceremonial medieval robes. Very clearly, what you're involved in is a ritual, has all of the markings of ritual, including those necessary speech acts without which the ritual doesn't happen. And it's attended and witnessed by the people who love you. I want to think about what that means at this time and in this space. If you have done some reading in Royce Hall, whether as students at UCLA or as visitors here today, you may have noticed the words above the stage here. You won't be able to see it, I'll repeat it to you, but you can read it back there. Education is learning the tools which the race has found indispensable. Kind of singular message that has to do with our progressive movement over generations, that transmission of tools and of knowledge from generation to generation, from place to place and person to person, that has allowed the human race to flourish together and to learn how to survive through very difficult times. If you've done a little more reading around the building, you may have noticed that here outside the southeast door on the front of Royce Hall is a quote from the philosopher Josiah Royce, for whom this building is named. He was a University of California professor at a different campus up north, but for a while he was here at UCLA. He lent his name to this building. The quote chosen for that doorway says, "The world is a progressively realized community of interpretation." The world is a progressively realized community of interpretation. And I want you to think about that. I mean, this is probably the most sermon-like thing we do at universities here, so let me take that as my text for the remaining couple of minutes of this address. The world is a progressively realized community of interpretation. In preparing yourself for UCLA, in applying to UCLA, in taking your first classes, in deciding on your field of study at UCLA, you were participating in this community. You were depending on the people around you, both your peers and the faculty members and the staff members who cared for you during your time here. You were depending on them for the support that you needed to find your way within this community. But you were also contributing your own views, your own distinct personhood, the stuff of your diversity, the stuff of your individuality to this community. If you've been thinking hard about what UCLA is while you've been here, then you will have understood that UCLA, like other great universities, is an effort at a model community. It's a place where, to a certain extent, we govern ourselves, both as students and as faculty, by our own lights, where we work together, where we attempt to create the highest possible level of mutual trust, and where, when we run into difficulties, whether with that trust or with other circumstances, we do our utmost to resolve those difficulties together in a way that preserves our respect for each other and preserves the ability for our community to continue to thrive. Achieving that is, in some sense, an achievement of what Royce was talking about when he called the world a progressively realized community of interpretation. You have built a world here, both with your nearest network of friends and acquaintances, and in the larger sense, through the organizations you've participated in and through the other kinds of ties you'll retain to UCLA as you go forward. I want you to think of this community at UCLA as a constant resource for you. And in fact, what I've got in mind is a spring here in West LA. It's not on this campus, but it's a spring that for as long as anyone knows has been associated with the Tonga people as a sacred spring, as a source for regeneration and for nourishment. Let UCLA be that for you. Let this place be a place to which your memory returns in future, whether in times of joy or in times of struggle. Let it be a place you come back to for educational guidance, for reunions with friends and with faculty and with staff. Let this be a place that stands for the kind of community that you would like to inhabit and that you would like to create around you as you go forward. We faculty stay here at UCLA for years, sometimes for decades, and we settle into the roles of teachers. We see generations of students come, and then come again, and then come again, generation after generation. But I think something that we all come to understand gradually is that our students are becoming teachers as they stay with us here. If you've gotten into the greatest public university of the land, then you are already positioned for extremely strong learning throughout your life, not just when you're here. But it may be less obvious to you that you're already in a position to be great teachers, great mentors, in formal ways and in informal ways. You're empowered. You're ready to pass on something of what you know about that calling of yours that you discovered here, that field that you're going into. But something also about what it means to be part of a strong, mutually supportive community and a place where, even through times of difficulty, we're capable of creating kinds of feelings of affection, of love, of respect, of trust for each other that really are the only way we can sustain the world as a progressively realized community of interpretation, a place where we constantly seek understanding of each other. That's what I want for you in the future. It's what I desperately want for us here at UCLA as well. And I'm extremely proud that you've prepared yourselves so well already to play this role in the world. So I congratulate you. I congratulate and thank your families and your friends who've supported you. And I wish you the best sort of influence on the world as you go out and change the world itself and the people around you. Congratulations to all of you. Please excuse me, I have left out one of my duties. It's now my pleasure to introduce our young alumna speaker, Melissa Nessman. Melissa graduated from the Division of Humanities of the College of Letters and Science with a Bachelor of Arts in English. Please welcome Melissa.
Good evening, graduates and guests. It is a great honor to be invited back to my alma mater to help celebrate the class of 2021. Today marks the day you can commemorate this final milestone all Bruins look forward to, crossing the stage and becoming an official graduate. And as a fellow Bruin, let's be real. We've all thought of this day and began planning from the moment we received our acceptance letter. Standing here on stage, I begin to reminisce on some of my favorite everyday UCLA moments. Every morning approaching Bruin Walk, we were greeted with, "Excuse me, sir, can I ask you a question?" At the same time, students walked with their earbuds in, blasting Disney music, heads facing down, avoiding eye contact, and steering away from the infamous flyering. Now, I won't lie, I often peeked up to see which club was selling Portos. In the afternoon, we all searched for Powell Cat, but if we couldn't find him, we knew there would be some friendly pups to pet. As we made our way up Jan's steps, we made sure to skip the 6th step, and before every final, we rubbed the Bruin bear paw, just as our NSAs at orientation always told us to. I still believe my rubbing of the Bruin paw before heading to the Rose Bowl is why in 2018, we defeated that school across town and brought back the victory bell right to where it belongs. Now, my memories as a student, and with my name being called, crossing the stage and turning my tassel to the left. At that moment, I began my new chapter with new set of memories, becoming a UCLA alumna. Many students know when their college experience will end, graduation day. All students have that countdown on their first day of their final quarter. Mine was June 14th, 2019, and yours should have been June 2021. But little did you know, your UCLA experience would come to a halt in March of 2020. You had no warning, no countdown. The rest of junior year gone, senior year an unknown. Instead of going around saying your name, major, and a fun fact about yourself, you began asking, "Can you hear me? Are you able to see my screen?" These screens became your new classrooms, and there was no separation between school and home. However, Bruins are resilient. You found ways to overcome an experience no graduating class has ever had to undergo. Your journey was not easy, having to navigate many obstacles. Technological issues, time zones, moving in with your families, finding childcare, facing food or housing insecurity, experiencing medical conditions, and even dealing with the loss of someone who couldn't be here today. Now, while juggling all of that, you still managed to wake up, log on to class, whether you wanted to or not, and completed your degree from the #1 public university in the nation, all throughout a pandemic. Class of 2021, you really did that. Now, as you leave this room today, I challenge you to associate your UCLA experience with more than just the disruption of COVID. Unlike my commencement, you entered this room as alumni, not as students. Your new chapter and set of memories has already begun. When you leave today, take a stroll, rub the Bruin paw, take a deep breath on an empty Bruin walk, skip the 6th step, and hey, if you're lucky, maybe you'll spot Powell Cat. Take these experiences you gained at UCLA and go apply them into the real world. Remember, each Bruin has a unique UCLA experience that has shaped them to be who they are today. For me, it was my heavy involvement with orientation, residential life, and club sports that allowed me to make lifelong connections with my coworkers, residents, and peers, including many of you here today, which is why I'm standing here celebrating with you all. Thank you once again, and congratulations, class of 2021.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Now, when you became Bruins, one of your rites of passage was to uphold our true Bruin values of respect, accountability, integrity, service, and excellence. As alumni, you're Bruins for life, and you remain an important part of the extended community of UCLA. I now want to share with you UCLA's principles of community, which are published with our mission statement. I will read several of these principles to you, and then I'll ask you to make a pledge with me to uphold them as you join other communities around us, communities that will find their greatest success because you, as a Bruin, are part of them. I quote, "We believe that diversity is critical to maintaining excellence in all of our endeavors. We seek to foster open-mindedness, understanding, compassion, and inclusiveness among individuals and groups. We're committed to ensuring freedom of expression and dialogue in a respectful and civil manner on the spectrum of views held by our varied and diverse campus communities. We acknowledge that modern societies carry historical and divisive biases, and we seek to promote awareness and understanding through education and research, and to mediate and resolve conflicts that arise from these biases in our communities. Silently, please join me in this pledge. We will commit together to uphold these principles of community in Westwood and in our communities beyond. Thank you." And here's the moment we've been anticipating. Would the first row of graduates please rise and begin your approach to the stage? Graduates, we recognize you today for your individual achievements, and we present you as UCLA graduates to your family and friends. Our master's degree recipients will be followed by our bachelor's degree recipients. The graduates will cross the stage and pause for a photo and the recognition of their achievements by everyone gathered here today. And then you'll proceed forward following the arrows, which will bring you back to your seat. May our celebration of your accomplishments commence.
Joshua Lee Enright. Jose Ion. Joshua Warman. Lucine Hartuni. Selena Monique Garcia. Caden Taylor Schuber. Jennifer Isabel Torango. Nora El Nuihi. Jessica Ni Deng. Kathleen Lamarck Navarrete. Kyle Nguyen. Ming Sung. Matthew Joseph Palacios. Brenda Selena Llamas. Erica Vanessa Orellana. Guohran Ye. Oh Shun Jiang. Kujia Kelly Chung. Carol Wu Lin. Ethan Cho. Jude Benedict Pondes Baggio. Max Wu. Brandon Joshua Brukim. Ana Malia Akanete Lapota. Yuning Chu. Jia Yuan Tony Huang. Sylvia Lee. Ki Nguyen Pham. Wenjing Zhong.
Thank you all. In the spring of 2021, the Chancellor conferred your degrees, and at this time I want to revisit that moment with an acknowledgement of his words. More than anything, the Chancellor hoped that your experience at UCLA has opened up some windows on the world for you and leaves you yearning to know more. Your experience at UCLA is just the beginning of a life of continuing discovery, and the skills you've acquired here, in and outside of the classroom, will serve you well in this rapidly changing world. When we gathered here today, perhaps your tassel was on the left, which is correct. If it isn't, please take this opportunity to turn your tassel, if you have one, while we listen to UCLA's alma mater, Hail to the hills of Westwood. We're so very proud of you, class of 2021. Graduates, please stand and be acknowledged by your family and friends. Thank you. Please be seated. Yeah. Guests, please remember that you should remain seated until graduates have exited the ceremony. Family and friends, we're grateful that you joined us today and that you've played such important roles in the success of our graduates. I'll leave you with the words of John Wooden. Success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's courage that counts. Congratulations, and go Bruins!